Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the weekly kickoff. All right, now the big news, obviously, Trump has issued Mexico and Canada with 25% tariffs. China, they get an extra 10% on what they've already got. Now, Mexico and Canada have both pushed back, saying they're going to do the exact same thing to the US. And that's caused, obviously, a major disruption in the markets. You can see the dollar index here has gapped considerably, and that matches up with the move in euro. Sterling's down. Over 100 points. Aussie, Kiwi, dollar CAD is gapped significantly. Dollar yen is just starting to pump through a resistance line. Like it looks strong dollar across the board, right? When it comes to a tariff war, the US will win, right? It's the most self-sufficient economy. This works well for Trump because he can start to change a lot of manufacturing through these or tariff wars, if I get that right. So what does that do for us? Well, it's a bit of discombobulation at the start of the week, right? And if I just come back and get the calendar up, you're probably putting a line through, I'd say Monday, Tuesday economic numbers. These aren't really going to impact at the moment because there's too much speculation around what do the tariffs mean and what does it mean for the dollar, right? If anything, it means strong dollar, right? So at the moment, so you come into sort of Wednesday, the ISM services PMI number, all the non-manufacturing numbers, like these are good numbers, right? We've got the Bank of England on Thursday. A 0.25% cut is pretty much fully factored in. So just keep an eye on that. And then really it comes down to, Friday, we've got the non-farm payrolls, and it's that every second month we get the Canadian employment numbers at the same time as the US. So you're going to see some major discombobulation there. And, inflation rate out of China on Saturday doesn't really help us either. So the week ahead is a little bit patchy. What we need is everyone to calm down, take a big deep breath. We know Trump, how he plays this, right? He comes out with big numbers to start with, and this is the 25% that he's putting on Canada and Mexico, and then, ruffles some feathers and then walks back to the table and says, you know what, let's do 10%, right? It's better than 25 and it's an easier pill to swallow. So let's just see how it plays out because Canada in particular, right? Trudeau has come out and said, you know what, don't buy US products, don't go to the US. We're going to hit the US with 25% tariffs as well. And it's sort of, it's playing into Trump's hands. That's perfect. That's what he wanted, but we're going to see how it plays out, right? When we're looking at the global markets on a day like today where, a lot of the major currency pairs are down over 1%, right? The dollar is going through the roof. Look at the equity markets here, right? They've really chimed in, down 2%, right? The NASDAQ futures, this is carnage, right? So risk off 100%. This is good because with the equity markets going down, you can see very clearly where the action is. And this is going to be our focal point this week, looking at the markets through the eyes of the equities and what that does to the US dollar, right? On the yields, the US dollar has hardly moved. The PCE price index numbers Friday were pretty good, or as expected. So the Fed aren't ready to cut rates, but now this is a good time for Trump to do this, right? Get the discombobulation out. Let's get the dollar back into play and see what happens. Funnily enough, it does make, with the dollar rallying so aggressively, it does make the US dollar less competitive globally. So anyway, we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully it only lasts a few days and then they sort themselves out. Handbags at 10 paces is what we used to say. So let's just see what's going on. We've got the employment numbers, right? That's a tricky affair in anyone's books. You throw in some discombobulation, that could go all over the place, right? Bank of England interest rate decision factored in. Not a lot to be looking at there. Overall, this week, it's very important you do keep a very close eye on the daily trends, right? Because the dollar is starting to trend. We are going to be, and this is the key factor here, why we're seeing some big moves. The dollar had given up some grounds, right? Euro was going up, sterling was going up, Aussie was going up, Kiwi was going up. Same with dollar CAD or the Canadian dollar. Now that's just ricocheted. So we're going to let the dust settle. Let's redraw the trend lines, see what's going on, and then play from here. All right. So not a huge amount of data coming out this week. Don't get suckered into the non-farm payrolls. I'll cover the data releases as we go through each day. But on the face of it, we've just got to calm down and wait for the markets to settle down, right? This is the same thing that you'll see in all the banks, all the trading teams across the world. They'll be sitting back going, right, okay, Trump is in play. Let's just hang on to our hats, right? Do I see these moves continuing? I think we'll see some pullback, but it's going to take Donald to pull back from 25 to say 10%, and then we'll see that correction. But it's still a strong dollar move, right? All right, guys. Interesting to say the least. We'll see how it plays out, but that's the week ahead, right? So, a bit of a reshuffle with the Trump tariff news, but don't let that sort of unsettle you. Remain calm and think about your capital management. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.